Oh, what a delight it is to walk through the scriptures together. We started all the way back in John chapter 1 verse 1. Now we're to the beginning part of First Corinthians chapter 11, where Paul is challenging the Christian culture within the Corinthian Greco-Roman culture. And he's saying, look, you Christians live in this culture. There are symbols, there are cliches, there are traditions in the outside world. Some of them pagan, some of them have Jewish influence, and now you're bringing Christian influence to your culture. Communicate, understand what the different meanings are. I often use the idea of taking a big red octagon back in time to the first century. And if we were in the city of Corinth and we took our big red octagon and stepped out into the highway and held it up for everybody to see, we'd get run over because they don't know what that sign means. But we do. And in the same way, it's important for us to understand what their signs meant, their symbols, their cultural communications. So as we're reading through this letter, and he's talking about long hair or short hair or shaven hair or different things that had meaning to them, it may have a different meaning today. Like today, it's not one way or the other. To have long hair, it makes a difference. We communicate femininity and masculinity in our culture, and they did in theirs. So our goal in this context is to communicate God has created me one way, and that's the declaration that I'm going to make because I agree with God's decision. That's called confession. When I agree with God's expression of reality and with his decisions, like the cup agrees with the potter who made him. So here in chapter 11, verses 8 through 12, we read, "For man does not originate from woman, but woman from man. For indeed man was not created for the woman's sake, but woman for the man's sake. Therefore the woman ought to have a symbol of authority on her head because of the angels. However, in the Lord, neither is woman independent of man, nor is man independent of woman. For as the woman originates from the man, so also the man has his birth through the woman. And all things originate from God." He's saying, look, in Christ, our relationship with each other has a new beam of light illuminating the reality of God's creation. He said, God created the man first and then the woman. God's order of creation is mentioned elsewhere in the New Testament when it comes to church leadership. Here in the home and in the culture, we recognize that man was created first, then the woman. But today, if it hadn't been for a woman, I wouldn't be here. If in Christ we recognize that we're not independent of each other. The man is not independent of the woman, and the woman is not independent of the man. But everything originates from God. We are all dependent on the Lord. So if my dependency is on the Lord, my allegiance is to him. He is the authority in my life. And the woman, the Christian woman, recognizes her father or her husband as the first authority right over her, but Christ is right over her father or her husband in her thinking. So the man is directly accountable to Christ, and the woman is indirectly accountable to Christ. That's why when the Christian wife recognizes her dependency on the Lord flows through her husband, that she can respect her husband whether he's respectable or not. She can love her husband whether he's lovable or not, and the husband can love his wife whether she's lovable or not. He can care for her whether it's easy or difficult, because their dependency, their loyalty is in Christ. So this is the design that God has chosen, and he is far, far above us. So our questioning him or rebelling against him is futile. I heard a dialogue earlier today. Of all the gods and goddesses that people worship, which one is the true one? Which one is the true God? And the response was, the God that you hate. And the fellow says, well, why would I hate the true God? Because the true God challenges the evil thoughts in my heart and my intention. He challenges the desires of my flesh, and my flesh hates the truth. My flesh does not care about anything but the desires of my flesh, and they're in opposition to the true God. He said it's the God that you tend to rebel against who's the true God. The other gods and goddesses, they are actually appealing to your flesh and your mind. Come and do this and you can have that. Come and do this. Come and worship me and I will give you these things. Well, the true God says, come to me in holiness. He's holy, which exposes my unholiness. And so when we rebel against this particular design that God has given to mankind, to humanity, to men and women, it is our fleshly desires that rebel against his genius and his kindness and his love. So let's get our minds around the design that God has given us, rejoice in that, and recognize that everything originates from God. He loves you, and we love you too.